how obviously you were a fan of Mr. Brown's work. How did this collaboration then go into the film?
Do you want to talk about how it started?
How did the idea come up, and then how did...
Go way back.
Yeah.
So Jordan Horowitz, who was one of the producers, wrote an email to me back in 2006, shortly after I had found out my girlfriend was pregnant. And he asked if I had ever thought about writing for film, and I said, no, not really, but hey, I have an idea for a film. And so that was how it started.
And then how did that then, Michael, get to you?
Yeah. So I had read a really early draft of it just because like a friend sent it to me because he knew I was a fan, and then I was at Jordan was at Sundance in 2010 with his film The Kids Are All Right, and I was there with my first film called One Too Many Mornings, and I basically sent him an email because I heard their director had dropped out. That was basically the story I told you guys, and we met up there, and then sort of they let me run with it, and then we made a movie.
Great.
It's really easy.
This movie is obviously about two women, and you are obviously two men. When you were creating this story, did you have female advisors, or?
Well, I've been told I'm kind of feminine sometimes by various people. So no, I mostly looked at my wife now, but at the time my girlfriend, and she has two older sisters, and so I was just kind of mishmashing her relationships with those sisters, and I don't know where Mike, he's kind of feminine too.
We're both kind of, yeah. And I have my wife and her sister similar things, like some of the moments feel like things that she has said to her siblings too, so yeah.
So just very observant.
I don't feel, but also like I don't feel like, maybe it's just because I talk a certain way, and I don't feel like girls actually feel, I don't think there's that big of a difference, and I don't know if people disagree with me, but I think like, especially currently with our generation and relationships, like this girl doesn't believe in marriage, and that's such like you don't see women character, like every movie that I go to see about a woman character, she's always like not satisfied unless she finds the perfect man, and I feel like that's changed, and so I think that there's not, to have written these women characters more feminine or more women-like would have actually been untruthful.
Yeah, and that seems to support your very modern day telling of a love story.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, questions?
Don't be shy.
I've got more if you... where did you get the animals? They're both adorable. Maybe that's my...
Okay, the animals. So the dog is amazing. That's NASA, and that's my cinematographer's dog. And she was wonderful to work with. And she was actually, ironically enough, in heat when we were shooting. And it's like, she's like staring at Lizzie, and this dog, we had to like take off its like weird diapery thing for that scene, but it's like the dog is looking at her like, oh, you're pregnant, and this dog is in heat at the same time. And the cat, Miss Kitty, was the worst actor I've ever worked with. I'll never work with her again. She was also the highest paid person in the entire, highest paid cat, highest paid thing, actor, cactor, in the film, and terrible to work with. Don't ever work with Miss Kitty. Cats, you can't really train cats, and so, like, literally for every shot in the movie, there's like 10 minutes of us going like, Miss Kitty, rub, and they had like baby food they were trying to feed it, and like, literally we would just shoot, and then finally the cat would do something and be like, okay, we got it, we can move on. So, awful.
Pets and babies, right? Right here.
Jeffrey, how does it feel to have to look and see your work on big screen?
Good. No, it's really surreal. I mean, one of the things for me, I mean, mostly I draw comics, and I have all these books that I've done, and going into this project, I knew it was collaboration, so I was fully prepared that, I'm gonna put my vision in, and then it's gonna be totally twisted and corrupted and come out but everyone that worked on it somehow brought it back to something that I could have put on screen myself, but feels very much like me. So, yeah. Do you want to say how it feels to see my artwork?
You know what I can say is that when I first met with all the actors, I gave them a copy of Any Easy Intimacy. That was like actually like as part of our first meeting. I was like, here's this book. This is what we're trying to do, and I think that helped get everybody on the same page.
Will the drawings be compiled into a book?
Will the drawings be compiled into a book?
Yeah, well, we're hoping that when it comes out on like DVD, there could be like a really nice edition of it where you get like a book with the art, and
there's a 7-inch with some of the art, and then some of the songs that Rishi, who did the score and some of the songs in the film, which I don't know if you can, his band is 1AM Radio, you could email him maybe to get one, but that has like a little booklet with some of the art.
Yes, right here.
Jeffrey, how did you find how did you prepare to go from writing comics to writing a film? Was it natural? Did you have to study scripts?
I had to bring in co-writers. Yeah, so Jordan, who initially emailed me, actually put me together with a friend of his, Egan Reich, who is a playwright and had done freelance screenwriting. And so Egan, I had all these ideas, and the way I structure my comics is very non-chronological and fractured in terms of narrative, and doesn't really translate to movies, especially like an hour-and-a-half feature. And so Egan was kind of responsible for really like taking all these ideas and kind of trying to put them together with a skeleton, and then also as well as doing like the grunt work of you know, writing an actual format screenplay. So it was kind of like I was sitting there saying like, and then there should be a scene like with a guy, and then they're like saying this and this, and then Egan was just having to sit there and write it all down for us.
How long was the entire process from that first email all the way through shooting and then into post-production?
I think it was like April 2006. So, and then it was June of 2011. Is that right? No. Yeah. So.
About a year ago.
Yeah. So it was 5 years from the first email to shooting.
And Michael, how long did the actual shooting process take in that?
Yeah, well, we shot it in 20 days, basically like the entire month of July last year, and then we premiered it in this past January. So we had a really quick post. It was really fast, actually. Once we got the script in shape, and it was actually kind of miraculous, like getting the cast on board. They all came on board very pretty quickly, actually. It was like one of those like you can't believe. I don't know if you guys are fans of Lizzie and Martin or Party Down fans. But yeah, me too. Like, I saw it the same way you guys saw it, which is like in my underwear on Netflix streaming, like all in like a 48-hour period. Yeah, Jeffrey had more clothes on. And then like a couple of weeks, and then it's like, oh, this is Sarah, and I already knew I wanted Martin for the Andrew role. Yeah, I actually like we always wanted him, and then Lizzie, once I saw Party Down, I was like, there's no one else that can play this except Lizzie, and so it was kind of surreal, like a few months later, or a month later, like meeting them in person and seeing them, you know, and the fact that like all of these people, they are like every bit as cool in like, you know, you see these people and you're like, oh man, I'm such big fans of them. I bet they suck in real life. I never want to meet them, but they're awesome. Like all of them are really cool, and we just had like a really good time making this. And like I took a picture of you guys before the movie just to be like, oh, sold out show, and then I texted it to Lizzie, and Lizzie's excited about the fact that you guys are all here. So it's like stuff like that is like, you know, that's awesome. You know, not everybody's like that. I don't know if I just answered your question at all. But.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Great.
How much improv did you allow the actors to do, or was everything completely spoken?
Yeah, the question was how much improv. Not a ton. I think we used it more as a tool than relying on it. A lot of times we would like sort of start the scene like 2 minutes before the scene starts in the script. So the actors are sort of like get to be in the world of the movie and like know sort of the context and get, so that way when they work to their lines, it feels more natural. But there are a couple little, like they would reword things, and it was really collaborative. But it wasn't like, it was like, I don't know what this scene is, try to hit these 4 beats. It wasn't like that at all.
You bring up a good point about